There is a moment. You know it. The moment the ground stops feeling solid. One message, one phone call, one diagnosis, one layoff, one betrayal. And suddenly, the life you built starts sliding sideways. You reach for control, you grip tighter, you try to fix the finances, fix the relationship, fix the timeline, fix the outcome. You stay up late rehearsing conversations that haven't happened yet. You scroll for answers that don't exist. And the strange thing is this: the harder you fight the storm, the weaker you become. Because the storm was never yours to fight. It was only ever yours to survive. Somewhere underneath the noise, a quieter truth is waiting. Chaos is not the enemy. Your resistance to it is. If this feels like a place you can breathe for a while, consider staying. A quiet subscription, a small nod of support, is simply an invitation to return here whenever the noise outside gets too loud. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor sat alone in a tent. Wars on every border, plague behind him, betrayal ahead of him, and at night, by candlelight, Marcus Aurelius wrote to no one but himself. He was not writing to be published. He was writing to survive his own mind. He returned again and again to a single image, a citadel. Not made of stone, not defended by soldiers, a fortress built inside the self. A place no enemy could reach, no emperor could burn it down, no betrayal could break through its walls. Because it was not out there, it was in here. Half a world away, in the monasteries of old Japan, warriors spoke of something similar. They called it Fudo-shin, the immovable mind. Not a mind that feels nothing, a mind like a deep lake. Storms may cross the surface, wind may tear at the water, but beneath, in the depths, everything stays still. This is the secret both traditions understood, separated by oceans and centuries. Peace was never about silencing the world. The world will never be silent. Peace is what remains when you stop asking it to be. It is not the absence of the storm. It is the presence of a center the storm cannot reach. You already have this citadel. You were simply taught to abandon it. Every time chaos came, you ran outward, toward control, toward fixing, toward exhausting yourself against a world that was never asking you to win. The citadel was always waiting, empty, unused, yours. Here is where most of us go wrong. We believe strength means control. Control over outcomes, control over other people, control over the future. So when life turns chaotic, we grip harder at the very things that were never in our hands to begin with. And this is where the paralysis begins. You cannot control whether someone leaves. You cannot control the market, the diagnosis, the decision made in a room you weren't in. You cannot control how fast the damage spreads, or when the good news finally arrives. And yet you try. Night after night you try. Your mind circles the same locked door, searching for a key that was never made for it. This is the exhaustion beneath the exhaustion, not the crisis itself, the endless, futile war to control what was never yours. The old Stoics drew a line, a simple one. On one side, the storm, other people's choices, the verdict of fate, the outcome you are owed nothing of. On the other side, your response, your breath, your next right action, your stillness. That is the whole of your kingdom. It is smaller than you wanted, but it is unconquerable. Because no one can take from you what was never outside of you. Not your boss, not your illness, not your ex, your rival, your fear. They can take the weather, they can never take the mountain. When you stop trying to command the storm, something strange happens. Your energy returns. Not because the crisis ends, but because you stop bleeding it into a fight you were never meant to win. So how do you actually build this? Not as an idea, as a practice. 3 steps. First, retreat inward, not outward. When chaos hits, the instinct is to lash out, to send the angry message, to demand answers the world isn't ready to give. Instead, turn inward first, just for a moment. Before you speak, before you react, go back to the citadel. Let the first wave pass through you there, in silence, where it can do no damage. Second, collapse the timeline to one breath. You do not have to survive the whole storm at once. You never did. You only have to take the next breath, then the next small step. Wash the dish. Send the one email. Tie your shoes. The mountain is not moved in a single motion. It simply stands, one moment at a time. Third, remember what is weather and what is stone. Every storm you have ever lived through has already ended. Every single one. The heartbreak that felt permanent, the fear that felt endless, it passed, and you are still here, still standing. That is not luck. That is the mountain in you, quietly proving itself again. So the next time the ground feels like it's giving way, remember this. You were never the ground. You were never the storm. You were the stillness underneath both, waiting to be noticed. The citadel does not need to be built. It only needs to be remembered. And in that remembering, you were free the entire time.